Sup friends, welcome back to the channel. So if you've been following us the last couple years, you know we cover all kinds of co-op games here, from the big AAA temples to the smaller indie gems we stumble across on Steam. But every once in a while, a game comes along that you recommend, and not just one of you, but a bunch of you. So we finally listened and gave Abiotic Factor a shot. Now I'll be honest, at first glance I wasn't really seeing the hype. But once I got my hands on it and we played for a few hours, I was like, okay, there's actually something here. This is a big game, one you could easily sink 60 hours into, if not more. We've yet to finish it ourselves, but have seen a good amount of the game. With so many co-op releases dropping right now, we didn't want our thoughts on this one getting lost in the shuffle. So today, I'm breaking down our impressions of Abiotic Factor so far, and hopefully by the end, you'll have a better idea if this is simply another survival game or something special your squad should actually make time for.
Why is there a guy crawling in here?
Wait, yeah, what?
I wanna shake this vending machine real quick, sorry.
It's really funny looking.
Working hard or hardly working?
Working hard or hardly working? He says, oh, the robot is right there.
Oh, fuck. Oh, he might see me. Oh, fuck, he sees me. Ah, he got me.
I'm experiencing an insufficiency of food.
What time?
Did you guys hear my character say this?
I'm so hungry right now.
He literally,
I'm hungry.
he literally said that as this guy breathes his last breath. I could use a burger. Just because this isn't a full review doesn't mean we'll be cutting corners here, so let's start with ease of play. Abiotic Factor supports online co-op for up to 6 players running on a host/invite system where one player creates the server. All progress, including your character progression, is tied to that server, so you'll only be able to continue when the host is online. If that sounds limiting, there is a workaround. You can rent self-hosted servers through a third-party service like Gportal, and from what I've read, the setup is actually pretty straightforward. On the plus side, the game features full crossplay across PC, PS5, and Xbox Series consoles, and is available on Xbox Game Pass and PlayStation Plus Extra, which is a big win for keeping groups together. Reportedly, there's cross progression as well. That's always easy between Xbox and PC, but I wasn't able to test how it works between other consoles or find an answer online. Abiotic Factor has been in early access since May of last year and just hit 1.0 this past summer. The game runs fine for the most part, but we did run into some technical hiccups on Xbox Series S, namely stutters and frame rate drops. We also played it on PC where it ran far better, but we still encounter stutters, especially when entering a new area. It's a little surprising given the simple art style shouldn't be too demanding, but your mileage may vary. With those details out of the way, let's dive into the gameplay loop. Abiotic Factor kicks off with your character transferring to the Gate Cascade Research Facility. You're a scientist on your very first day, except there's little work to do. The facility has gone into full lockdown, with strange phenomena and hostile threats turning survival into your only priority. Right away, the game sets itself apart from other survival crafting titles. You're not chopping down trees or building a log cabin. The focus is much more on the story. There's a compelling mystery about what happened here and what kind of research the facility was conducting in the first place. Progress looks like this. You'll enter a new sector, run into some fellow stranded scientists, and get a new objective that gets you closer to escaping the facility. These NPCs act like pseudo quest givers, nudging you to craft key items so you can move forward into the next sector, where you'll meet yet another scientist and learn more about what's going on. Of course, between objectives, you'll spend plenty of time exploring and managing your needs like hunger, thirst, sleep, and yes, even bathroom breaks. How needy your scientist gets depends on your character creation choices. After the tutorial, you pick both positive and negative traits that shape your playstyle. You only have a certain amount of trait points to spend unless you take on some negative traits that grant you more. For example, you could take on Buff Brainiac, which lets you carry 15% more weight, but balance it with dry skin, which makes you 20% thirstier than normal. But hey, at least you'll be able to haul more sodas around. You'll also pick a job, which acts like your starting role and gives you bonuses to certain skills. Skills level up organically, very much like Skyrim. You get better at something simply by doing it. Over time, each player in your squad naturally falls into different specialties, unlocking new crafting recipes and perks, making them more proficient in their role. That's the core gameplay loop, but it's really just scratching the surface, so with that in mind, let's move into my impressions.
Nice.
Whoa, I need it. Antique shotgun. Wow.
Wow.
That's cool.
These are cool.
We gotta open all these doors.
What's the ammunition that it takes? Let me see. Andrew and I have played our fair share of survival games over the years. We've got our favorites, but if we're being honest, it's a gameplay loop that can grow stale fast. You spawn in, craft a pickaxe, chop down some trees, throw up a shelter. We've all seen it a dozen times. Abiotic Factor shakes up the formula in a refreshing way thanks to its quirky corporate setting. Instead of chopping lumber, I was raiding cubicles for pens and rubber band balls, then strapping them together into a makeshift crossbow with pens as the bolts. That little contraption turned me into the squad's marksman and helped me hone my accuracy skill, while everyone else naturally fell into their own roles. As soon as Andrew found a chef hat, he knew he was destined for culinary greatness and became our cook, keeping us alive only on slightly radioactive meat, at least until he upgraded to some very tasty soups. But before we could get there, we needed potatoes, which could be hard to come by in an underground facility until Christian became our resident farmer, carving out a corner of the base, planting seeds and growing crops. And Jake just bonked enemies really hard. Different skills shine in survival or combat, often rewarding you with useful recipes, like Christian unlocking a portable healing pad he could deploy out in the field. That natural division of roles is one of the game's biggest strengths, with the others being exploration and story. The maze of office hallways might not sound exciting, but it's surprisingly fun to unravel, especially with a group. We'd split up, poke around, and inevitably someone would shout, "Hey, I found something cool," and then we'd all rush to regroup. The level design is pretty decent, with shortcuts and interconnected sectors that make backtracking feel rewarding. Your curiosity is always repaid. You'll usually stumble upon some new gear or a hologram recording that fleshes out the world. We always stopped to listen when Dr. Mans popped up, and the broader story of Gate and its experiments hooked me the whole way through. Things really shine when the game sends you through its portal worlds, tossing you into wild scenarios like battling across a runaway train or sneaking through a very Silent Hill-esque town. The latter section turned Abiotic Factor into a mini stealth horror game. In fact, almost all the portal worlds played with genre in some way, and they were easily the peak of the whole experience. The problem is they don't come around often enough, and the experience starts to grow tedious as a result. Too much of the main progression boils down to fix broken machine by crafting some missing part. Objectives can get repetitive and sometimes even confusing too. Twice we hit progression walls where the next step wasn't clear, resulting in us wandering around looking for a specific resource or recipe. One especially bad objective required farming a wildly inconsistent and random enemy spawn just to move forward. The enemy is supposed to spawn every 15 minutes, but in 2 hours we only saw it twice. Not to mention the interaction with it is already kinda wonky. That roadblock completely stalled our progress halfway through the game, and it's baffling that it wasn't ironed out during early access. Combat doesn't exactly pick up the slack either. It's clunky with loose hit detection and almost no challenge. Even the staple base raid nights felt trivial, since enemies are easily dispatched and death barely sets you back. That said, there are sliders and settings to let you tailor your experience. I imagine you could make the game harder for yourself. 10 hours in, we decided to tune the settings in the other direction to focus more on the story and less on the survival aspects. Lastly, as you might notice, Abiotic Factor goes for an intentionally lo-fi look look and feel that tends to benefit the experience as much as it harms it. The map isn't very helpful and it doesn't show player locations, making it difficult to regroup if someone gets lost. Some interactions involving inventory management could be more intuitive, but maybe that's more of a nitpick. In the end, the first dozen hours of Abiotic Factor are a blast, but once the repetition sets in, it loses steam rather quickly. Whether you stick with it really depends on a few factors, so let's bring it home with some final thoughts.
Look to your right, we're in a library.
Oh,
Don't go out there, don't go out there, Christian! That thing was gonna eat you, bro. Oh god,
Oh my god!
Oh my god, that was scary.
Come over here, boys. I dismantled the thing. Oh, he can grab. He's trying to grab us, dude. Do not get close enough. Oh. Ultimately, where do we land with Abiotic Factor so far? Honestly, it's kinda soured for us. I respect what it's doing, and I get why so many people enjoy it, but it just hasn't fully clicked. The co-op mechanics are solid, the setting is great for group exploration, and the story/world building is a genuine highlight. But those strengths couldn't carry us through when the moment-to-moment gameplay fell so flat. I will say, I think a lot of the fun of this game happens in the moments in between in a sort of make your own fun kind of way. Whether it was us making makeshift obstacle courses, me trying to puke on everyone's beds, don't ask, or Jake teaching us the importance of not bank standing. The game leans into this with some quirky characters like an NPC simply named Coworker who crawls around on all fours spouting workisms like Mondays, am I right? As such, Abiotic Factor feels like a game best enjoyed slowly, one you chip away at where the little absurd moments like those stack up over time. We, on the other hand, we wanted to mainline the story. I wish we felt more compelled to play around with base building or crafting beyond essentials, but we simply didn't. If you're already a survival crafting fan, this corporate sci-fi setting grabs you, and you got 3 other friends ready to commit to this, then you'll probably find a lot to love here. But if you value tighter combat and don't have the patience to see through some rough edges, then this is not for you. It didn't hit for us, but I don't regret checking it out. It was worth seeing what all the buzz was about. Thanks for watching, guys, and thank you to everyone who recommended this game over the last year. If you're new here, we cover all things co-op games, so if you want to stay in the know, make sure you subscribe and follow us on our socials. If you want to support us, check out our Patreon where we give you first impressions of games via our Patreon exclusive series, Play and Banter. Thank you to those already supporting us there. We'll catch you next time on another episode of The Co-op Bros.